Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Beardworks Podcast, Ep2. Big 1 week anniversary. How you doing, Skads?
Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Not bad. Bit better this week. Had a bit of, for the listeners out there, had a bit of audio trouble last week. I've been using a headset for the first episode because I was waiting for my mic to be delivered. We had to record the first podcast 3 times. We talked about that stuff so much. I reckon I could write an essay on it.
Completely agree. That was good fun last week. So good start, I guess.
Yeah. Technical difficulty should be all sorted now. We both got decent mics and that. And yeah, we'll get straight into it. We tripled down on the video games last week. So we're going to do a bit of a mixed bag this week. We've got comics, a bit of anime, and of course, touch on video games again. I think we'll start this week off with Cosmic Ghost Rider, the one-shot me and Skads both read this week. So yeah, what are your first impressions?
Definitely cool read. I mean, when it comes down to the cool plot line that happens over the story, like the build up is really cool at the very start, talking about like where, well, if anybody doesn't know about the Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's about Frank Castle, the Punisher, inheriting the Ghost Rider powers when he dies, and becomes a Cosmic Ghost Rider. So like he has powers that's beyond just the normal Ghost Rider. And yeah, to see it start off in like Asgard, that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting it to go down the Asgard route straight off the bat, but it was definitely a good surprise. Seeing Odin and just Frank Castle, he does just not give a shit about anyone. He's that strong and he's been around for that long. He just doesn't respect anyone, even Odin.
Well, he's an old withered Frank Castle compared to what we've seen in either TV or movie adaptations or even other comics. And it's not Asgard, sorry, it's Valhalla, isn't it?
Valhalla, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my mistake. But yeah, it was really cool. Like you see him like long grey hair, just like we know that Frank Castle as a character on his own is just like he's sick of people's shit. He just doesn't put up with anything, and he'll put you down in a moment's notice if he's over it. And to see him like, you know, drinking a beer in Valhalla, and then like I think in the first like panel, like he's like taking on like a not so much a god, but someone that, you know, has been transported to Valhalla after death. So he's obviously a hero or has some kind of great story, and he's just sick of him. Just, you know, give him a good wallop.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, I think issue 3 was my favorite. Well, for anyone, there is definitely going to be spoilers in this. We should have mentioned that at the start. So if you plan on reading Cosmic Ghost Rider, you're probably already gone too far. But yeah, issue 3 I thought was really good when they verse Cable and he keeps sliding, all the teleporting stuff, time travel.
Yeah, I mean
he's bringing every hero in. Yeah,
that was so cool. Like it's just like it starts off with the new Guardians of the Galaxy, and I remember the first thing like you seeing a Juggerduck.
Yeah,
that I was just like, that's so wacky, it's so funny. And then you see like Rocket Raccoon, where is like in an mini Iron Man suit with Groot's like armor on the outside. Like, it's just so crazy. It's like it reminds me of the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Like it just goes completely off the rails, does whatever it wants to do. Like they just start bringing all these characters back in, and literally it's just there's like 4 or 5 panels now where it's just like Cosmic Ghost Rider killing everyone that comes from the future back to the past to defeat him, because Cable keeps sliding back between realities from the past to the future and so forth.
Yeah, because in this Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's so overpowered. Like, he's just so strong. And Cable keeps time traveling and bringing like a different group of Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy just back and forth trying to take him on. And Cosmic Ghost Rider's just mowing through waves and waves of like the best heroes: Wolverine, Spider-Man. I even saw Blade in there.
Yeah, that was so cool seeing Blade like just like trying to take him on.
People that don't know, Blade's a bit of a special hero for me. I grew up watching the Blade movies; they were my favorites. But yeah, seeing Cosmic Ghost Rider just turn every hero into mincemeat, it was wild.
Yeah, the core of the story is based around, like, for people that don't know, and obviously if you haven't read it, go read it first, then come back and listen to this. It's based about Frank West as the Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's already lived his life as the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and that's why he's in Valhalla already. And what happens is he gets given the opportunity to take the mantle back of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. And Odin said, "They just get out of here. I'll transport you wherever you want to go." And at first he denies it. He goes, "No, I don't want to do that anymore. Like I've seen enough through the eyes of the Cosmic Ghost Rider." and he goes, "Well, I wasn't giving you a choice." Transports like zaps him out of there, and it's pretty much obviously the story up to thus far. It's just a quick like few panels telling you what happened in his past life, and like you find out that he worked under Thanos, like because he tried to defeat Thanos and he lost. Thanos like destroyed most of the universe, like pretty much stock standard of like Thanos's character, and so he goes back in time to a period of time when he goes to Titan, which is Thanos' homeworld, and heads down to the crypt to the crib, sorry, I should say, of Thanos when he's a small, very small infant child, and he's about to shoot him. And it's so funny because like he's so strong, and the baby just jumps up, starts bashing his head in. Like this is a Thanos baby taking on the Cosmic Ghost Rider, just jumps on him, starts walloping into him, and it's such a funny sight. But it's such a cool story. Like thinking that if you go back in time and take Thanos out before he could become the Mad Titan, like it could derail what we've seen in the movies and in all the comic books up this far. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was definitely laughing reading that because you just see this little innocent purple little pudgy kid, and then he just starts just hammering him. And Cosmic Ghost Rider's not weak; he could kill literally every Avenger, and Thanos is still punching his head in.
Yeah, it's so cool. I found that so funny. Whether it be like when you break down that like sort of that little scene, it's just like he's actually going to shoot a baby. Like he's going to shoot a baby Thanos that we all know that is like a mad crazy Titan that they've built up in the movies, like the Marvel universe, but also in the comics, and from all the past stories that have come before this one shot of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. And to see him just like about to put a bullet in this baby Thanos' head, you're like, okay, this is pretty full on. Like this is gonna be very interesting. And then you see like normally the old Punisher or the Ghost Rider, they take out vengeful things like as in like they take out vengeance on those kind of enemies. And to see him go, oh, you know what, I'm going to try and change this baby's future. I'm going to try and make him a good being. And he just takes the baby and goes, I'm going to change you into a good person, a good, like, alien from another planet and won't destroy the entire universe.
But yeah, Death had other plans. She fated Thanos to be this psycho, just murderous dictator. Yeah, so it didn't really matter what Frank Castle did in the end. It was Thanos is always going to turn out mental in one way or another.
And so pretty much from then on, it's just like Galactus is in it. That's pretty cool because apparently back in the day, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, or Frank Castle, and Galactus were like a tag team going throughout the universe, taking down bad guys or whatever they deemed to be bad guys. And then they went to take on Thanos together. Obviously, they lost. Galactus was, I think, got his head taken clean off, and Frank Castle was, forced to join Thanos. And so it's kind of cool seeing. I like seeing the interaction between Frank and Galactus. Like it's a very funny, very robotic because Galactus obviously a giant eating planet kind of being, world destroyer. It's good to see him have like a bit of humor too with Frank.
I feel like the Marvel people, the writers, whoever did this issue, just no one respects Galactus. Like he's this big powerhouse planet destroyer, and then Cable shows up, throws a little bit of pin particles on him, and he puts him in a jar in 1 second.
That was so classic. Like, Cable comes back and goes, "Oh, thanks to Hank Pym," and just chucks him. He loads him into a weapon, into a grenade launcher, and just shoots him off in space. And he goes, and then he's just like, "Did you kill him?" He goes, "Of course I didn't kill him. He'd just be leaving us alone for a while." And I thought that was so funny. But like to see Cable rock up with the new Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said earlier about the Juggerduck, and there was Kamala Khan as Captain Marvel with Captain America's shield, like really cool little things.
She's going to be Kamala Khan. She's going to be one of the characters in the new Avengers game.
Yeah.
She can stretch and shit.
I think that's what, because I think they've sort of built up the story thus far with the Marvel game that obviously the Avengers fall, and that then she comes into this fold. And so like you probably build your story through her and then you play as the other Avengers. I think that's what they're going to do.
Wouldn't even surprise me if they're going to like you play a little bit of the game as like the iconic Avengers, and then you're going to have to form a team. You're going to have to start it again because people haven't watched like the Avengers trailers and stuff that have happened. Is Cap dies?
Well, I think they imply that he dies. I'm not sure if he will. I think. I mean, those kind of games, they can't reveal too much. And I don't think they'd kill off Captain America in the first, 30 minutes of the game. I feel like he probably gets transported somewhere and they think he's dead because they don't see him. And then that's, the start of the game where after everything that's happened, the downfall of the Avengers, Kamala Khan might find something out and then you just sort of play with her for a bit and then, you know what I mean?
I'd love the Avengers game to because we've only seen trailers of them fighting just goons and stuff. I'd love them to go into the space stuff or like Asgard.
Yeah.
Something we haven't played before, besides like a shitty movie tie-in game.
Yeah, true. But tying it back to the comic, it was just a really fun read. And to see that obviously after all the stuff that's happened through the Punisher's storyline, through other comics or TV shows or Netflix adaptations, that his core values is that he's a bit of a brute of a guy and he just bashes his way through life. And to see him at the end of the comic realize that, so at the very end, towards the end of the comic, Thanos shows up from the future as he's wearing a big Punisher shirt, dressed up similar to the Punisher, and he says to Frank, "Oh, hey, Dad, what's up?" And so that obviously from the future he came from, Frank brought the baby Thanos up to be obviously a man, and so it shows that he eventually did what he thought was the right thing, and so he takes Frank to his future and shows that he has all the people that disagreed with him in a hellhole kind of a part of the planet where it's just cities torn apart. There's everyone's being policed. All the superheroes are just not existent, and but apparently his wife survived. If anyone doesn't know, the Punisher storyline is that his wife and family are killed off earlier on. I guess I can't even speak English right now. In his story, that thus him becoming the Punisher, and so it shows that his wife is still alive, and there's a version of him there that's happy, and you can see that Frank, first off, he's emotional, but then he looks to the other side of the planet and realizes that this is not right. So, what did you think about that?
Yeah, he's got Thanos has got such a 50-50 split. You're either 100% agreeing with Thanos, living in fear, or how he says it, happy and safe, or you're in the hell pit prison city with all the people just fighting and killing each other.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it was cool, little one shot, and it showed the story of no matter how dark Frank's future and past have all been, it's it still breaks down to his core that he wants to see the world in a good place, not ruled by Thanos in either way, whether it be the bad Titan or the version that he's brought up. So the scene when he just knocks him down off the side of the mountain or down the cliff, to where that destroyed destroyed city is, where all the heroes and all the other people stand, and he just wallops Thanos with a few hits, and then just stares into him, and talks about how he can stare into people's souls and bring it and make them realize all the bad they've done. And he's just I love how Thanos is just oh, I've done this thing a 1,000 times, this is not going to touch me, it's not going to hurt me at all. And then he just burns his skull to nothing, just melts his body away, and he's just holding his skull at the end of that last panel.
Most brutal penance there I reckon I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was madness. Oh, that was such a cool little thing. I'd love to see it animated in a short film or something like that. But I mean, it would just be Cosmic Ghost Rider ripping apart the Avengers for half the movie, so I don't think they're going to push it too far.
Yeah, I'm not even upset about watching Cosmic Ghost Rider kill the Avengers. That would be the sickest movie.
I don't think Marvel will do that, unfortunately. I think seeing all their favorite heroes be killed off by one bloke in
one bloke that hardly anyone's going to know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, but no, overall,
very good read.
Very good read, very interesting, very cool story. Cool visuals on the drawings and stuff like that, and animation. So
yeah,
but
well, speaking of people getting ripped apart, something you got me into recently, Attack on Titan.
I've been saying it for years. Attack on Titan's been around for a while now, but I guess it's just taken a while to sort of get going. I mean, the people that loved the story from the very beginning would have watched it way back in the day. But I mean, it first came out in 2013, which is crazy to think that we're now in 2020. So 7 years later, and
there's only 3 seasons out. That's a big time.
Well, the first season had 25 episodes, and that was released on April 7th, 2013. And the last episode aired on 29th of September the same year. And then this is for me. I watched it. I reckon I watched it probably in 2014, and I finished the whole thing. And I was like, wow, I love the story. I can't wait to see what happens next. And then the second season didn't come out to 2017. So like such a
Jesus.
long wait. But yeah, like it was worth the wait though. I mean, I didn't know what to expect because I felt like this is a straightforward anime where it'd just be like, there's monsters, the good people are trapped on the inside, and it's all about fighting your way out to try and build a bigger world for the people that lived within these walls to expand into. But I was very wrong, and I'm so pleasantly surprised to see where it's going at the moment. So, I mean, what did you find as the best aspect of Attack on Titan?
Well, yeah, you messaged me that the new trailer came out and you were hyped for it, so I decided to get on it because I hadn't watched any until like a couple of weeks ago, and I've just been marathoning it. I've just finished season 2, going into season 3, and it's pretty wild. I don't know. My favorite part about it, I like the Titan fights. I'm basic, just like Eren turns and he just starts punching them all. That's my favorite. Just the action's really good, and it's animated like unreal. The big budget anime.
Yeah, if obviously, guys, we're going to be getting into spoilers about Attack on Titan. So if you haven't seen Attack on Titan season 1 or 2, that's where Nick's up to. He's just finished season 2. Please click off and or pause it and watch a bit, because I mean, if you really want to watch this show for the way it is, you really need to witness it firsthand, because it's unparalleled. Some animes, get to this kind of level, but I feel like Attack on Titan's taking it a step beyond. And getting into the bracket of like some of the bigger, I guess, animes that have stuck in people's minds for the last, 20 years. So, but yeah, for anyone who has watched it, I think you guys will understand that it's a very gruesome show, and that, you might have an attachment to some characters and they might not make it through. Case in point, after the massive training episodes where it shows them growing up and sort of becoming competent with ODM gear, which is like this gear that you can fling yourself around with, get to the same, because the whole story is that there's these giant Titan human looking things that eat humans, or what they classify as humans in the show. And it's all about them slashing those things down to nothing. And unfortunately, the build up to the characters, like through the training episodes and like them getting and graduating and stuff, it's pretty gruesome. Were you a bit surprised to see so many people get killed off in that first like initial attack?
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Game of Thrones. Like, you get all these character development scenes and all these little storylines starting to form, and then boom, dead.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones with how they just kill off people. But it's good.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people explain this when the first season had dropped and I'd finished the season. I started watching reviews by YouTubers, and they were saying like, "Oh, there's a lot of red shirts," and what they meant by red shirts is that people were just there to get killed, and it's so brutal. Like, because some of the characters, I felt like I was really interested to see where they go next, and then you just see like one of them get slammed against the wall and they're dead instantly. I'm just like, oh, right, okay, fair enough. That's cool. I guess we'll just move on from that character then. But yeah, overall, I mean, were you shocked by some of the revelations from season 2, like finding out that some of the people that were within the core of the group, especially like some of the side characters, like you could say, were actually the bad guys?
Oh yeah, I obviously knew the super titans, the abnormal ones, were gonna be people. I did not think it was gonna be people that we've seen almost every episode, just as side characters.
Yeah,
People that you wouldn't really give a second thought to. But no, boom, they're going to be big players in the story.
Well, yeah, I feel I remember when I spoke to you about this last week, where I had watched Attack on Titan, and I was up to when season 2 dropped. I was watching episode each week, so it wasn't like I could watch all of them at once. It was just dropped week after week. And I remember that one episode where you find out that Bertolt and Reiner are the armored Titan and the colossal Titan, and because of these two Titans that the words I just spoke about, the colossal and armored, they're the ones that actually initiated the attack in one of the in the first episode where it got heaps of people killed. And so you think, wow, these giant abnormal titans have appeared and just destroyed everything, and they're the reason for so many people dying. That you actually find out that they were just when they were a bit younger, that was them. They started that attack, and then flash forward 5 years later to when the main characters had grown up and joined the Corps, which is like the army version of this world, to take on the Titans. Just the day they graduate, they get attacked again by the Colossal Titan, and you're like, okay, history's repeating itself. So then you find out that in season 2, these characters that were actually part of that core group growing up and like fighting and to learn to fight against Titans were actually the bad guys all along. And to see them so casually say, oh, we are these monsters that have done this damage and we're here to take you with us. Can you please come peacefully? You're like, wow, did they actually just say that? It's such a casual conversation when they announce it. And then you find out that, you know, the core group of characters already had a feeling that there was people within their group that may be Titan shifters, is what they call them. And yeah, I could not believe it. I still remember the episodes of that day, exactly where I was, you know, the shock that I had. I was like, I can't believe this. Like, because I thought, I mean, the people that read the manga probably already knew. I don't read any of the manga because I like to watch it in animation form first. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. That just shocked me to my core. And it still does to this day to think that, you know, they survived all this stuff together to find out that it was actually like fabricated they were never going to die, the two characters that betrayed them. So
Yeah, it's definitely interesting how they just dropped that. There was no build up or anything like, oh, yep, that's us.
Yeah,
such a big revelation for the show, just thrown out to the wind. And then obviously it leads into one of the sickest fights we've seen so far between the Armored and Aaron. But
yeah,
that was very good.
The animation Attack on Titan, the battles, you know, just because it is literally like David versus Goliath in most instances, unless you're Captain Levi, who just like dominates every single Titan.
Yeah, he's like a human Beyblade. You look at him, it's you 1,000 times.
But yeah, like overall, so like where the story is at the moment, like I'm not going to spoil anything for you because you haven't set up to it yet, but it's in a crazy place, and I can't believe that the direction it's taking. But I'm just so keen for season 4. The trailer was amazing. It was released later this year. I think it's going to be October. And there's the trailer just blew my mind. I could not believe it. So keen on it. Just to see where the story is going to finish up, because it is the final season of Attack on Titan. And yeah, I'm so hyped. Just such a cool kind of world, brutal world, but such an engaging story. And like I said, I thought it was just going to be a simple hack and slash kind of anime where the monsters need to be defeated, the humans need to push their way out. But no, the story has just done. I could not, if I watching it back in the day, back in like 2014, where I reckon it was, I would have never expected to get where it is today.
Yeah, I prefer animes like this, not like One Piece, for example, that's like 5,000 episodes long. This is just like short, sharp, and sweet. 4 seasons, boom, perfect story, quick and easy.
The typical shonen anime always has that protagonist that like always overcomes their power, like overcomes their limits to defeat the next enemy. Whereas Attack on Titan, you know, the main character Eren gets eaten like in the first major battle. And for people that don't know, Eren is a Titan shifter, so he gets eaten, then he unleashes his power, he can become a Titan, and he's in control somewhat at the start. He learns how to control it later. But yeah, like to see, like I said, all these red shirts, all these characters that they built up, it's not like in-depth story, but they're there, they make interactions with all the main cast, and then they get killed off in that first battle, and you just see Eren like get munched on by a Titan as well. When in typical shonen anime, it'd be like, I'm going to destroy these things, you know, sort of like Naruto say how he says, I'm going to become the Hokage, or, you know, Goku powers up all the time, or, One Piece, Luffy's always the final person that, you know, he always finds an extra gear to fight. You think, okay, Eren has like this hatred for Titans from after what happened in the past, and he just gets munched on, and you're like, oh, right, so that was the main character, he just got eaten. Cool. And you actually think he's dead because they don't actually show it doesn't happen to the next episode when he actually releases his time powers. So it literally ends the episode after his death. So
There's two episodes. There's an episode gap, isn't there? So they have one episode without him. You think he's dead, and then he comes back an episode later. Yeah, like they did it very well because it's not like he gets eaten and then boom, big power surge, and he's straight back. There's like a gap. You think he's dead. They just continue the story without him, just to throw you off.
Yeah, and
it's very good.
The coolest thing about Attack on Titan, like, is the animation's top tier, the character development's top tier, the story's top tier, but the music.
Oh yeah, the music kicks off.
The music is one of the best soundtracks of all animes. Like, and it's not like the opening or the end or the outro. It's like during the combat as well. Just really cool music, and it just, like, even in season 2, like, there's the fight scene at the very end when all the scouts are, like, just going for it to save Eren, and the music kicks off. Like, Historia, she, like, flies off of Ymir's head as the Titan to go fight the Titans, and, like, the music just kicks off, and I just love it. I think it's one of the coolest animes ever.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me as well. Like, obviously haven't watched as much anime as you. Like, I've seen like Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, One Punch Man, Tokyo Ghoul, but this is just on another level. This is up there with like Fate quality.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's been built up for such a long time, and it's got such a huge following. And now that a new studio's taken over for the later season, to animate it, and these guys are really good. Like, I can't comment too much on how many other shows they've done, but from the trailer and from the reaction of other YouTubers watching that trailer, I love watching reaction videos, especially people or on things that I really enjoy. Yeah, a few of them have said that this studio is going to kill it. So I'm so keen to see it. Just got to wait until October, and hopefully nothing gets delayed, because it's just a crazy thing for a season, like a 4-season anime, to start in 2013, and it's probably going to finish in 2021. It's crazy, but it's been some of the best years watching this show. So,
moving on to a couple of topics that we loved, something that's a bit more controversial, because we're coming into the next console era now, next gen. Let's talk about the exclusives, PS4 and Xbox One. I know we've been talking about this a lot recently, but
yeah. So,
what are your thoughts? Like, I know we're both pretty well in agreement.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the games that came out over the life of Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it's not much of a comparison. PlayStation blew it out of the water, I believe. And I mean, some of your favorite games are on PlayStation. Some of the best story-driven games are on PlayStation. Well, if you look at Xbox, you only have to look at the top 10 list, and I look at them now and I just think, well, yeah, there are some nice ones there, but other than that, like, Halo 5 Guardians is on that top 10 list.
Yeah, I went back and played that co-op recently, just because there's been nothing to play recently. That game is not what Halo is. Halo back in the day, like, it was hard to beat. Halo 3 era, Halo 2, like, they were god tier, and Halo 5, it was an eyesore. It was not fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, I played through the story, and I didn't find it very engaging, the story. I know it was, like, told over 2 different characters with Agent Locke and the Master Chief, and I just didn't enjoy it. I'm being, like, 100% honest. Like, I just did not enjoy it, and even the gunplay. Like, I remember in Halo 4, like, the final boss fight was like a quick time event, and
Ugh,
well, if
yeah,
you look back at Halo 1 and you're driving the Warthog to escape, that was that was one of the coolest missions ever. Like, I remember my cousin and I used to do a whole playthrough of the game just to get to that last mission to do the Warthog escape, and it was so much fun. Halo 2, it wasn't like a fast-paced ending like that, but you had the verse, I forget the brutes, their leader at the time. That was kind of a little battle. You play as the Arbiter and the Marines, like, sort of helping him as well. So that was good as well. But yeah, Halo 4 had the quick time events, and then Halo 5's story just let it down. And I mean, it did not capture me one bit. And even though with the new Halo Infinite, they haven't really shown much on it. It's going to have to be a home run. It has to be. Otherwise, people are going to lose faith in the Halo franchise. I mean, it's not run by Bungie anymore. So obviously that's happened for a while now, but I don't know where Halo's headed. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I'm just looking at the top lists for each here. the first 4 on Xbox is Halo Wars 2, Halo Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Motorsport 7. Are you kidding me, Xbox? These are games that I wouldn't buy out of a $5 bin at EB Games.
Yeah, I mean,
And then you go to the PS4 list, God of War, Spider-Man, Bloodborne, and Horizon Zero Dawn. All of them 10 out of 10.
yeah,
It's not even a contest.
Like Halo Wars 2, I've started playing that, but for some reason it didn't feel like Halo Wars to me. I know there might be people that really love that game, and that's fine. You can love whatever game you like. But playing Halo Wars 1, I loved that game, and then I went to Halo Wars 2, and I just didn't enjoy it as much. I don't know why. It just didn't capture me. Maybe it was just I was a different age then when I liked it compared to where I was like when Halo Wars 2 was released. But the Halo Master Chief Collection is just a remaster of the old games. Now, obviously, everybody wants backwards compatibility and wants to be able to play the older games if they can. But the Master Chief Collection was broken at launch. You could barely play it. You'd boot up into the first mission, and it would just like crash.
Yeah,
and that's on console.
Yeah, that was one of the worst releases I reckon I ever saw.
It was so laggy, and I was super disappointed. Obviously, I think it's better now. I haven't touched it since, but I mean, and then have Sea of Thieves, which came out on launch, had like such good promise, and then like it had nothing at the start of the game. Like you could do bits and pieces, but there was no real. Like it was meant to be like a game that you could grind out and like travel around the bloody map, have a bit of fun with your mates and stuff like that. But there was nothing to do. There was like a few things that you could, a few islands with the skulls above them that you could go in and raid. But
literally everything in Sea of Thieves is useless because the base gear you start with, just like your pirate suit and like your sword and gun, it's got the same damage as even the most expensive higher level gear that you would have to grind for. It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Like if I'm grinding like an RPG game, I want to grind so my character is stronger. In that game, you're grinding for like geometry that makes you look different. It's not worth it. It's an empty game. It's a shell of a game.
And if you look down the list of the Xbox One exclusives, I mean, you got Forza Motorsport 7, which is Forza is normally people who love driving simulators. Forza is like the top of the rank, other than Gran Turismo back in the day. So I don't play much of the simulated driving anymore. I like more of the arcade ones, obviously like the Need for Speed games. So to see that Forza is on there, I can understand why that's there. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I heard is a really good game, but I have not played. Have you? I
recently played both Oris. They're both very, very good, but I can't say that they're not AAA, but they're definitely you can tell it's an indie game.
Yeah, of course. And then I mean, I didn't play much. I didn't play Sunset Overdrive. Did you?
Yeah, it was all right. It was just I don't know.
I think I started it. I think it was for free on Game Pass or Games with Gold like a while back, and I downloaded it. I started it, and I just wasn't really interested in it much.
I think it's the humor's just a bit cringe. They just try to like go over the top with everything.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the original Borderlands, but like just not as done well.
Yeah. And then they've got the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is just the remaster of the original Gears of War, which, to be fair, was a good playthrough because we played that. That was good fun.
Yep.
But like obviously there's the other game would be Gears 5, which was released this year. 2019, sorry. And that went straight to Xbox Game Pass for free. So like they didn't even make any money. They would have made money off of the game, but like if anybody has an Xbox would have downloaded it for free.
Yeah, I downloaded it for free. Like I did a playthrough and it just Gears of War to me was a trilogy.
Yeah.
The other ones like Judgment, 4 and 5, just take it or leave it. I don't really care for them as much. I just like the core group, the original COG. Like,
yeah, well,
that's Gears to me.
Well, I've played through Judgment. I didn't mind that, but it still didn't mean too much to me. I finished Gears 4. That was that was alright. And Gears 5, I've started, but I haven't finished. It just didn't grab me. Like you say, is the 1, 2, and 3. That's a cool. Like I find that's a really good trilogy, and it's really easy to play. And the story is really compelling. It's pretty straightforward. I just don't know what. Maybe I've grown out of those kind of games. Not those kind of games in particular, but like I don't know. The Gears story maybe is just the world's cool. Like the Gears of War world is cool, but I don't know. The latest games just haven't really grabbed me as well as the older games. So,
but yeah, so PlayStation 4 has just really just crushed this generation. It's everything I feel they release is just a home run. Let's just like the first one on this, God of War. That's one of the best games I ever played, I reckon. I loved God of War.
Well, yeah, the combat. I mean, you bring so like people who are listening. Hopefully, you've played the other Gears of War God of War games. Like 1, 2, and 3. There's like the PSP exclusive, I think.
Yeah, Chains of Olympus.
Yeah. So and there's a Gears of War. All right, I'm getting tongue tied now. A God of War Ascension, which was like the fourth game after the trilogy, which was based prior to God of War 1, I believe. Or just after, I can't remember. But like when they released that first trailer for the new God of War, it was so cool. Like, okay, so they've changed the setting. Now it's not a Greek mythology, it's Norse mythology, which is obviously, the Viking kind of world of it. But the game like wasn't as hack and slash as the last game. Like it's definitely in there, but it's the over the shoulder thing is a lot different to what it was in the last game.
Yeah, it was very well done how they did the trailer, because it wasn't really a trailer. It was a gameplay demo. It was the first thing anyone saw, which I think
Yeah.
was very smart because it just showcased how wild the game is going to be.
Yeah, and the combat's really cool, and like and I love the Leviathan axe. It's one of the coolest weapons in video game history, I think.
Yeah, even after I got the Blades of Chaos, I still used the axe more.
Well, the feeling of throwing your axe against hitting an enemy and then calling it back to you is such a cool feeling.
Yeah, it's one of the best mechanics ever in any game. Like I'll talk about God of War for like forever, man. It's just it's going to be hard to beat it it's inevitable. They're going to make a sequel. God of War made too much money. They're
Oh
going to
yeah,
make a sequel. I just hope it's as good.
yeah, and I think like I loved God of War. The whole game was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I played it on the hardest difficulty that was available when I started the game. So I had no had the only enemies I could ever see the health bar on was like a major boss battle, and so like I didn't even like, the only reason I knew my health was depleting obviously is because the screen starts flashing a bit red, and also on my controller it was like going from blue to yellow to red. So other than that, I was just running around having fun, and yeah, I like that challenge. It was so good. Like I'm glad I chose it on that difficulty straight away. The only gripe I have with God of War is that I feel that the final battle with Boulder wasn't an end game boss battle. And
Yeah, it was pretty easy. Like there was definitely better fights earlier in the story, but I feel like the setup for Ragnarok is just the second one's going to be crazy.
yeah, well, I feel when I finished that last fight, and I know you got the Valkyries that you can go fight, like the challenge bosses. Um, like that last fight with Boulder, like, I felt like he just wasn't a big enough threat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because you just beat him down and then break his neck.
Yeah, because like you pummeled him in the first battle, like when your first interaction with him. Obviously, you find out that he's actually a god, and so he beats you up a fair bit as well. He doesn't take any damage. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like needs to be a bigger baddie, and obviously there is, because this is just a return to the franchise. So I can understand why they done it. But I honestly was like, oh, what's the next battle? And then it's just like you find out the history of your son. I'm like, okay, so that's the end of the game. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait. But so far, it was a great experience. I was happy with it. And yeah, like I said, it's one of the best games of the generation. But
Of
obviously,
games ever.
yeah, and it just builds up for the second game, and so hopefully it's released with the PS5.
Yeah,
But
just hope anyone listening, if you haven't played it, stop what you're doing right now. Go buy it, play it, quit your job, just play God of War. That's it. You need to play
and
it.
and then go get your job back again. But yeah, I mean, if looking down the list of 10, like at number 10 was Until Dawn. Now I played that and I loved that game. I mean, I'm like I love the horror genre, and to play and Until Dawn was just a really cool story. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I played a bit of it. I didn't finish it, but I watched the ending on YouTube. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like the Telltale a bit more in that style of
Yeah.
game, like the choice making games. I like Telltale a bit more than I liked Until Dawn, but I know you
Well,
loved Until Dawn.
Well, I just love that because I've done two playthroughs and I think I saved everyone bar one in the second playthrough. But in the first one, I lost a few people. Like it's just small decision making, and for people that haven't played Until Dawn, it's like it's a generic horror movie kind of video game, and like you have to make quick time decisions. Sorry, and they literally have really bad or really good impacts on the story, because you have these cast of characters that you use, and these cast of characters are like real life actors, just obviously generated into a game, and so it's actually really cool because they're good at acting. But in saying that, like some of the scenes are a bit funny because obviously the facial animation can't match up perfectly, so sometimes the expression isn't that flash, but it is what it is. But yeah, I made plenty of mistakes on my first playthrough. Like I had a choice between shooting the enemy and shooting this barrel, and I got stuck in between, and I couldn't make a decision, and then my character got killed off, and I'm like, oh, well, not my character, but one of the characters that you play throughout the game got killed off. So, and it shows that the impact that it has on the other characters that they had the relationship with or had interactions with, that because there's heaps of decisions you have to make, and everything has a butterfly effect. So another game that was similar to that was the Dark Pictures, Man of Medan, and
Yeah,
or
they got the
Medan.
new one coming out. I'm pretty sure the next one in the Man of Medan or
It's called
Anthology
Little
ones.
Hope, I think.
Yeah.
And it's based I think it's based on like Salem or something like that, like kind of witch kind of craft. I think. I mean, the
Sick.
trailer when I first watched that, but that game was very similar. But if I was comparing the two, Until Dawn knocks that game off the park, like out of the park every day, because Until Dawn was such a cool story and the decisions were so much more impactful, whereas the Dark Pictures game wasn't as impactful, I found. So, but I'm really keen to see what they do. I'm hoping that if it's DLC, obviously it's going to be DLC for the next little bit they release. Hopefully it's like $10. If it's like $25, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah, and just the last couple we'll touch on, Bloodborne and Horizon Zero Dawn. I know we spoke about Bloodborne a bit in our first episode. How we both love that game and it's almost perfect, like God of War. There's a PlayStation event the day that we're recording this, and I just hope I get to see a Bloodborne announcement or something to do with From Software, because they're special. They do special games.
Well, Bloodborne was one of those games that I started and I played for like an hour or two, got a bit frustrated, didn't touch for a while, came back, and then just really grinded it out, because those games are meant to challenge you straight off the bat. They're not meant to be easy. And I was sort of new to those kind of games, like the Soulsborne games, and loved the game. Good fun, good challenge. Like we spoke about it in the last podcast, how that feeling of defeating that boss that's always pushed back at you and you're stressing yourself out because you can't beat it, to finally defeat it, and it's such a heartwarming feeling. But yeah, I mean, and at the moment, they'd be silly not to release a Bloodborne game in the next 2 years, because it's been long enough now, and there has been other games being released since then, whether it be Sekiro or Neo. So it's time for Bloodborne to return.
Yeah, I think we've had enough of the samurai Japanese aesthetic, because we still haven't even got Ghost of Tsushima yet, and I think I'm already burnt out on the genre. I want to go back to the Victorian horror, kind of like steampunky kind of stuff that Bloodborne had. I prefer that aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of hunters. It reminds me of Supernatural. So,
yeah, and last one, Horizon Zero Dawn. We're both currently playing that, because that's just a game that just went past us. There must have been other stuff released around the same time, but we're both currently playing through that, and I'm really liking it.
Yeah, Horizon's definitely a game that I mean, I knew about it, and I was so keen when I first saw the trailer, but I didn't buy a PlayStation 4 on release. I waited a little while, and I know the Horizon was around that initial launch time. And like, it's so crazy to think that, I literally started playing it just this week, and like the graphics on it are so good. Like, it hits the top end of the spec of the PS4, and to think that other games have come out in the meantime and they just don't look as nice. So, but the look of the game is cool. I love the gameplay. The world is really cool as well. So
yeah, I like the mix of Vikings and like super tech, but still primitive. I don't know how to explain it. It's a very weird aesthetic, but it's good.
Yeah, 100%. And I can't wait to play more of it. And I bought the complete edition, so I'm keen to see what the DLC is like as well. It has, obviously, it's got built up, and obviously there's going to be Horizon Zero Dawn 2, whatever it may be. Obviously, like Nick said earlier, the PlayStation 5 event is happening as we speak today. So I'm guessing that we're going to finish this up, and then on the next episode, we'll probably be talking about Zero Dawn 2 and other games that we'll be releasing.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for today. Episode 2, done. Went well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we sort of put it together a little bit easier today. So, I mean, hopefully every episode we do, we get more and more confident, get a bit easier at talking. So, I'm hoping you guys enjoyed today's show.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll definitely be back. We'll probably talk about Horizon a bit more in depth once we've both finished it and actually have a final opinion on it. But until then, bye.
Catch ya.